Hello friends, welcome back to another session of servlets. In today's class, I'm going to discuss about session tracking. So what is a session? Session is conversation between client and server over a period of time. And remembering the session is called as tracking. And session tracking is remembering and documentation of user conversation. You call it as session tracking, or you also call it as session management. So HTTP is a stateless protocol. Each request is independent of the previous one. So it treats like every request as a fresh one. However, in some applications like online shopping, it is necessary to save state information so that information can be collected from several interactions between a browser and a server. And session provides such a mechanism. There are four techniques in which you can do the session management. The first one is the cookie. In my previous video, I also have shown how to create a cookie. So please watch that video if you want content regarding cookies. And then the second one is hidden form fields. And the third one is URL rewriting. And the fourth one is HTTP session. So in today's class, I'm going to show you the session management using HTTP session. So HTTP session can be created. So who creates this particular HTTP session? The server creates this. The servlet container uses this interface. What is this interface? The interface is HTTP session interface, which is there in javax.servlet.http. So the servlet container uses this interface to create a session between the HTTP client and an HTTP server. And so the session passes for a specific period and across more than one connection or page request from the user. A session usually corresponds to one user who may visit a site many times. Okay, so imagine your online shopping wherein when you visit next time, it remembers what you have done in the previous visit, and it will give you some recommendations regarding your previous shopping. So that is what is called as remembering the or recording the session. So the server can maintain a session in many ways, such as using cookies or rewriting URLs, which I already have told you that I created cookies in my previous video. Now let us try to understand what is this HTTP session. So the server, as soon as a request comes from the client at the server side, so the server will be creating a session for the client. For each and every client, the server will be creating an object, which is called as the client object. So in this particular, which is also called a session, which is a client object. So inside this client object, there will be the session ID. This session ID can be a hexadecimal number. So it will be unique from client to client. For two different persons, two different clients, the session ID will be different. And why this session ID is created at the server side is that next time when the user comes in, it could actually make it out that whether the client is the old one or the new one. So it checks whether session ID is there. If the session ID is there for the user, it means that he has come once again to visit the website. How long this session ID will stay in the server? So till we close the connection, that is you close the browser or the user invalidates it or there is a timeout. So till then, the session ID or this particular client object will be there at the server side. So what are the methods that we'll be using to create the session? So session can be created via the getSession method. So this getSession method is there in HTTP servlet request interface. Okay, and an HTTP session object is returned. So you will be creating the session object by using via the getSession method, which is there in HTTP servlet request. So which will return the HTTP session object, right? And so this object can store a set of bindings that associate names with the objects. So inside this object, you can store in many attributes. You can store in many more information. Okay. So say for example, you can set an attribute. Say you can say that I want to store name is equal to, okay. So then I am saying Sudha, or I also want to store X is equal to 3 or Y is equal to 8. Anything can be stored inside your session object. Okay, so in the client object, anything can be stored. So this can be extracted by using the methods which are getAttribute Okay, so getAttribute method and also setAttribute method. You can set these attributes in the client session object by using the setAttribute method, and you can retrieve it by using the getAttribute method. Okay, so attribute. Right. So I'll show you these methods. So these methods are there in HTTP session. So I'll show you these methods now. So let us get into the method and the description. So herein you can see that the first method itself is the getAttribute method. So which takes in the name of the attribute. Okay, right. And it is here. Okay, so this is the set attribute. So the set attribute is will be taking the name and the value, and it will be setting this in the session. So binds an object to this session using the name specified. So by using this name, you can actually get the attribute. You can also invalidates this session, then unbinds any object bound to it. So these are all the methods that are available in HTTP session interface. Okay, get attribute names, get creation time, get ID, get last access time, get servlet context, and all these are the methods that are available. Okay. So now that we understood what is HTTP session interface, now let us write a program. So let me describe you what I'm going to do in here. So what is the problem description? So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a form. So a login form. Okay. So where there will be username. Okay. So there will be a text box here, then the password, and then there will be the password field, and then I'll be having the login field over here. So submit or login. So this is the HTML file that I'm going to create. So here by using HTTP session, I'm going to track the user's last access time. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll write a servlet. Okay. So I'll write a servlet wherein I'll be creating the session. So in the servlet, I'll create the session and I'll create an object which is the date object. Okay. So date object will be giving the time and the date the person logged in or accessed this particular page. Okay, and I'll store it in this particular date object. Okay, so if the client again visits this particular web page, okay, I'll be printing the last access time or date, and I also will print the current date. Okay, so I'll do this. So I hope everybody understood the problem statement. So this is the web page that I'm going to create. So first time when the user logs into it, there won't be the last access. Okay, right. So then I'll be printing the current date. Next time when user requests for the page once again, okay. So then I'll be printing these two things, like which is the last access date and the current date. Okay. So I hope the problem statement is clear. And what I'll do is, so there will be only 3 files here. The first one is the .html file. And the second one is the .java file, so which is my servlet. And the third one is the .xml file, okay, web.xml file. So these are the three things I'm going to create and I'll show you. So in my last video, I already have shown you how to create this login page. So I'm going to use the same HTML documents, but I'll show you the code. I'll start creating the Java code and show you. So this is my HTML document wherein I have created a form, which is the name of the form is F1 and the action is ./date servlet. I'm going to take the get method. So I'm not giving the method over here. So then I created a input field over here, which is of type text, and I created a password field which is of type text. And then I created a submit button. Okay. And I have closed the form and body and HTML. Okay. So let me save this. So save as, and I'm putting it on the desktop. So I'm making it as login.html. Okay. Right. So let me get back to the desktop. So this is my login.html. So let me open this and show you. So this is how it looks like. Okay, right. So let me close this and let me create a folder. So this is the folder. So let me name it as session app. Okay, so session app. Okay, so then Inside this, I'll be putting this login.html, I'll be putting into the session app. So inside the session app, I'll be creating one more folder. So let me create one more folder, which is web-inf. And then inside this web-inf, let me create one more folder, okay, which is classes, okay, right. And now let me open the notepad and write my servlet. Okay, so this is my notepad. So let me import the packages. So I need import java.io.star, and then I need import javax.servlet.star. So this is my second package, and so I'll be saying javax.servlet.http.star. So this is the third package I'm importing. I also require the util package. I'll tell you why. Okay, so import java.util.star. Okay, so because I'm taking the date, right? So I require the util package because I'm taking the date object. Okay, once I have given all these header files, packages imported. So now let me write the class. Okay, so what's the class? So the name of the class is so I said it is date servlet, right? So the name of the class is date servlet, and I'm saying extends. Okay, so it extends HTTP servlet. It extends HTTP servlet. Okay, now the method that I need to use is the do get method, because I didn't mention there anything. So public void do get. Okay, so do get method. So inside this do get method, I need to give HTTP servlet request, HTTP servlet request req, comma. So I'll be using the HTTP servlet response as the second parameter. So let me give it here. So this is response. Okay, so the object name is res. Okay, take off this comma, and then throws. So what it is? It throws IO exception, comma, servlet exception. Okay, so IO exception, comma, servlet exception. So now we'll write the logic inside this particular doGet method. So what's the first thing that we need to do is we need to create the object, okay, session object. So I'm saying HTTP session. Okay, I'm naming this object reference to the HS is equal to. So what I said, so you'll be creating the session by using getSession method. So where is this particular getSession method? So this getSession method is there inside your HTTP servlet request interface. Okay, so I'm saying getSession. So inside this, you can pass true or false. Okay, so if you're passing true, it means that if there is no session, create the new session. If there is no old session, you create the new session. If you're giving this value to be false, it means that if there is old session, give me the old session reference, or else don't create a new session. So that is the difference between passing true or passing false into this particular get session. Okay, next I'm going to create my, so this method get session will create the session and return the reference object to this particular, the object that it returns is of type HTTP session. So that's why we created an object of HTTP session and we have kept it here. Okay, right. Next one is I'm setting the response content type. I'm saying res and then content type. Okay, so what is the content type that I'm going to set? I'm going to set the content type to the text or HTML. So then I'm going to create the print writer. Okay, I'm going to get the print writer object. PW is equal to, so I'm saying res dot get write. Okay, so we have got the print write. Okay, fine. So now I'll create the date object. So I'm saying date, so that's why I have taken the util package. So I'm naming the reference object of the date to be date, and then I'll be using this reference, which is date is equal to, so which is hs dot. So I need to get the attribute. Okay, so which is all if it is already set. Okay, so this we are writing if it is already set. So get attribute, and what you need to pass into this get attribute. So the get attribute will be taking the name of the object, right? So what is the name of the object? The name of the object is date. Okay, right. But this will return me an object, so which I need to convert it into typecast it into the date type. So I'm taking the date over here. So I'm saying date hs dot get attribute date. Okay. So if I get null, okay. So if date, so inside date, if I may get null because this may be the first visit of the customer, okay, or of the client. So I may get null or I may not get null. If I didn't get null, it means that this is the second visit or the third visit. So if date is not equal to null, so then I'm saying pw dot println, okay, pw dot println. So I'll say I'll give the last access time. Okay, so I'll say last access. What is the last access time? So the last access time is there in the date object. So I'm giving date. Let me put one more plus and then I'll give a break here. Okay, so that the current time will come in the next line. Okay, so I have given this. So this will happen if it is the second or the third visit of the client. Okay, so if it is a first visit, so then I'm saying create a new date. Okay, and keep the date in the date object. Okay, so if it is a first visit, I'm creating the date object and I'm keeping it in the date. Next one is then I'm setting it to the client session object. Okay, so I'm setting it as the session object. So by saying hs is the reference of the HTTP session. So I'm saying hs dot set attribute. Okay, so set attribute. So what is the attribute? Set attribute. Set attribute will be taking two values. The first one is the name of the attribute. So the name of the attribute is date. So this is the date name that we again have given here. Okay, and so that's what we have done. Okay, comma, and then what it is, the value is there inside this particular date. Okay, so the value is there in this date. So this is the value. Okay, so I hope everybody understood this. So let me actually draw a line for you. Okay, so this is the name, right? So what is the name? So this is the name. Okay, right. This is what we have created in the set attribute, and then while getting, I am passing this over here. Okay, right, and this is the value. Okay, so this is the name and this is the value. So the value I'll be getting it from here. Okay, once I set it, I'm getting it. It's a reference. Okay, so this is nothing but the value, right? So now that I have set the date over here, so let me print the current date. Okay, so to print the current date, I'm taking this line once again, copy it over here, and I'll say current date. Okay, so let me make it as current date. Okay, so what is the current date? The current date is this one. So I don't need a break because I'm not printing anything else. So I'll say current date is this one. Okay, so that's it, friends. So now I am saving it. Okay, so let me save it on the desktop in the sessions app, in the web INF, in the class. I'm going to save it. So what's the name of it? So it is the date servlet dot java. Okay, so it's date servlet dot java. So now that your servlet is ready, so let me check some errors. Okay, so here you can see that in the exception X is capital letter. So let me make it as small letter. Okay, and save it once again. Okay, so I hope everything is correct. So let us compile this now. Okay, go to the C drive. Okay, so go to the desktop, Okay, and then slash, what's the name of it? So it's a session app. Okay, so inside the session app, you have web INFs. Okay, and then inside that you have classes. Okay, so I have set the path. Now let me compile it. So this is date servlet dot java. Okay, right? So I missed a semicolon. So let me just go back to this program. Okay. Okay, so where it is? Okay, so this is the set attribute. I forgot the semicolon. So I just have put the semicolon, save it once again, come back to the command prompt and recompile it. So I got the dot class file. Okay, good. So now what is left out? So your dot class file is here. So now what is left out? So you just need to create this web dot XML. So let me create that. So open your notepad once again. Okay, and we'll create the web dot XML. So this is my web.xml. So the name of the servlet is date servlet. Class is also date servlet. So the mapping slash date servlet. And my welcome file is login.html. So I have put everything in the appropriate tag. So let me save this where I need to save this. So let me go to the desktop. So the session app. So inside this web INF, I need to save this as web.xml. Okay, so save it. Okay, so now we are ready with everything. So your session app is ready. So this is your session app. This is login.html web INF. So this is your web.xml. So this is your classes. Inside it, you have this .java and .class files. Okay, right. So now everything is ready. So let us go into the Tomcat. Okay, so go to my PC, C drive, program files. Okay, Apache Software Foundation 8.5, and then go to web apps and place your folder here. So I think I didn't copy it. Okay, so let me cut it. Okay, come back over here into the web apps and paste it. So my session app is here. Okay, so go back, start your Tomcat. Okay, so start up your Tomcat. So my Tomcat is ready now. Okay, right, go to the browser. So this is the browser. So type in localhost. Okay, so localhost colon 4040. Okay, hit on enter. So this is your Tomcat. Okay, put a slash. So what is the name of your folder? So the name of your folder is session app. So hit on it. Okay, so this is your form. So I'm just giving Sudha, and then I'm giving the password 123. Okay, right? And then I'm clicking on the submit button. So take a full observation here, friends. So as I click on the submit button, you can see the current date. Why I got only the current date and why I didn't get the last access date is because this is the first time I'm requesting for the page. I want all of you to keep note of the time. Okay, so it is May 20 and take a look at the time. Okay, so it is 11:33:33. Okay, right. So keep this time. Okay, so and once again I'll request for the form. I'll go back. Okay, and submit the form. Okay, so let me click on the submit button. So now you can see that I got the last access time. Okay, which is stored in the date object. Okay, in the client session object. So wherein the time is 11:33:33 and now it is 11:34:20. Okay, if I resubmit the form once again, if I visit the web page once again, so the current time is 11:34, right? So now hereafter, when I revisit it once again, so the last access will be 11:34. Okay, so let me do that. I'm going back once again, submit the form. Okay, so now you can see that the time is 11:34:20, 33:33 is gone because after that I made a visit at 11:34. So the last visit time is noted down in the object, and now the current time is 11:34 and 58 seconds. This is how you do session tracking using HTTP session interface. I hope this video is helpful to you. Thank you for watching.